Thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Kenneth Jenkins. Thank you so much. Next, we have Elisha Simpson. She's the founder of Crossover Yoga Project, a nonprofit that aims to aid young girls in prison and detention centers to cope with their trauma through yoga and art therapy. Elisha Simpson.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks for being here today. Sorry, this doesn't work well with hoops. So another piece that I should mention in my introduction is also that I am now a social worker as well. So I have really, thank you. And I'm a cisgender, Cape Verdean, Italian woman, a mother and a wife. And I believe very deeply that if we don't recognize our history, can't trace our past into the present, we can't make those changes to transform the present in ways that we need to acknowledge the dignity of Black lives and to move away from victim blaming. Before I begin, I would like to pause in this celebration, and I want to thank the last two speakers for recognizing the 2 years that it took for Texas slaves to recognize their freedom, but also to recognize that what's happening right now, this celebration of Juneteenth, is happening on the land of indigenous people, the Quechuan, the Miha, the Asawana, and the Singskings people, and we should give thanks. When I was asked to speak about mental health, one of the organizers asked me to include the significance of Juneteenth, Black Lives Matter, white privilege, personal experiences, police reform, racial injustice, and what Westchester can do as a community, and the mental health of Black lives right now and in the past, which is quite an undertaking in 5 minutes. I will not be able to give justice to each point right now, but what is really, really important to understand is that intersectionality of how every single piece, everything that you've heard, impacts everyone's mental health, especially the lives of Black people. So I beg to differ. Sorry, Mr. Jenkins. Your emotional health is most important. Drinking that water, making sure you take care of yourself is the only way you're going to show up. There is no other way that you're going to show up to do this work. If we're not taking care of ourselves, it's not going to happen. So I would like you just to participate in answering 3 questions with me. And if you feel safe, I'm also asking those folks over at the church to participate as well. If you feel safe, you can close your eyes. And then if the answer to the question is yes, just open your eyes and look around. So I invite you to close your eyes just for a moment and answer this question. I have been hurt by someone I love. If the answer is yes, open your eyes and look around. Close your eyes. I feel isolated sometimes. Open your eyes, look around. If the answer is yes. I invite you to close your eyes for the last question. I want to be listened to. Open your eyes if the answer is yes. Now for everyone that's here, and like I said, especially the folks over at the church with their signs, we all want this stuff. I'm asking each and every one of you, of all the speakers that we just had, did you really hear them? Are you going to take this and use everything that you've heard, the emotions that you felt, and use them to move forward? Many of them have spoken about this as just not a one-time thing. This has been happening since we've set foot on this land. We have to be able to reckon with what we have. There are many, many scholars that have written research about how the historical, intergenerational, persistent, institutional, and personal traumas are a threat on someone's physical fortitude. I'm going to call it PF. And that all that is how much strength that we need to face everyday struggles. And some of those everyday struggles is just getting up. Some of those everyday struggles you've heard from some of the students here. And it varies from person to person. As we know, coming from a loving home, having connection, stability, deep family connections, that's going to strengthen our PF and make us stronger. And you might be able to withhold and, be able to go against some of those things that happen. But if you're a teenage daughter with a single mom who works full times, and you have to care for your younger siblings, clean the house, maintain good grades so you can reside in Croton, so you can get a good education, your PF is weathered day by day by day. And you got to live your life differently. And that comes with a price. Comes with a price of being labeled, being bullied by racial slurs in the school for participating in activities that you enjoy, despite your efforts to make this known and reporting to the authorities. It's shut down. It's ignored. Or if it's not ignored, you undergo this shaming practice of staying after school and writing letters of apology. There's a constant pressure for our kids to uphold these certain images by peers, by family, by social media, and this continuous, ongoing devaluation of Black lives that we see every second on our phones, through social media. Watching police officers devalue people's lives, and also citizens that think they can challenge people for doing mundane things every single day. Killing someone for walking in the park, killing someone who's sleeping in their bed, someone who's even listening to loud music with their friends, or walking in a middle-class neighborhood like we have here in Croton. When we can recognize this, and we can have these hard conversations about what's happening right now, this is how it begins. But we can't do that without having a really strong support and psychological fortitude to move forward. But the thing is, we're in a society when we show our emotions, it's a flaw. It's a bad thing. But the thing is, when you show your emotions, you're giving somebody that full attention, that's how they're going to heal. Recognizing them, listening to them, validating what they need. And my daughter tells me this every single day. She's got to be validated. I've got to be recognizable. Doesn't matter where you come from. We all need to recognize our children, and we need to hear them to help them move forward. So all I ask is this, because I know it's been a long day, so I'm going to keep it short. Find compassionate action and look inside yourself. Work through your own pain. Work through the things that bother you that you pushed aside for so long. Understand that shame drives competition. It hurts. If we can start practicing something called self-compassion, I'm sure you've heard this a lot, in mindfulness and all these things. It might not sound like a lot, but you need this stuff to recognize what's going on inside and why you have those things that you're pushing away. This gives you that opportunity to think and to breathe inside, and really helps you develop this kindness to understand when there's pain and suffering. It also gives us that ability to feel warmth and sympathy for others. There was a quote by Michelle Alexander that was recently written. Our only hope for a collective liberation is a politics of deep solidarity rooted in love. In recent days, we've seen what it looks like when people of all races, ethnicities, gender, and backgrounds rise up together, standing in solidarity for justice, protesting, marching, and singing together. Even as SWAT teams and the tanks roll in. We've seen the faces in other people, in other America mirror, a reflection of the best of who we are and who we can become. So on Juneteenth, sometimes there's poems There's a celebration of life. And the one poem which is usually read quite a bit on this day is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. So I'm going to just close with that poem. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod on me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like the moon and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing up high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds at the meetings of my thighs? Out of Hutt's history of shame, I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for everyone who's still here. There's water in the coolers over there and over here, so please don't be shy if you're thirsty. Our next two speakers, next we have Omira Andino. She's a village trustee in Tuckahoe, New York. In 2018, she ran for office to take a seat on an all-male, all-white board, and she won. She's also CEO of the Institutes of Applied Human Dynamics, an organization that supports people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. She's the first woman and the first person of color to serve as a CEO for this organization that's been in existence for more than 62 years. Omira Andino.